Okay, guys, so we are here today with Bezo. He is one of my contestants on the Gainathon. This is the initial call. We're going to see what he's been doing, how much he's gained so far, and just work out what we can do, what's best for him, essentially. So, Bezo, you sent me quite a
Hey,
few pictures. Why don't we
yeah,
go through it?
sure.
Let's.
Yeah, yeah,
Uh,
go ahead.
okay. Why don't we start with what was your current size
My current size now is just under 7 inches and about a little over 5
in girth? And
in girth.
yeah, your starting size was what?
My starting size was under 6. It was
Under
between,
six. Okay.
yeah, like 5. It might have been like 5'8", something along that sign,
Okay, we'll just
5.8.
yeah, we'll say 5 and 7/8. So you put on an inch in length.
Yeah, but the thing is, it's also could be erection quality as well.
Uh,
My journey in itself. I mean, I had got a pump years and years and years ago, and
mm,
didn't really know how to use it. Never did. And then it's like one of those things you try. And of course, I went down the rabbit hole, bought a bath mate. Tried that various times, and it kind of seemed to work. Never could really read the gauge on it. It was like, what is this thing? And
hmm
is it working? It kind of felt like it was doing something, but I didn't have a routine, and I also just didn't have enough confidence in it.
Gotcha. So I always count erection quality gains as gains, just because like if it shows in the
Oh,
physical space, it's usable, right? So gains
yeah,
are
yeah.
gains.
Oh, yeah,
Um,
for sure.
so you were just kind of doing willy-nilly bathmate stuff for how long?
Well, I got serious about it probably in May of probably May,
So
but
a
before,
2024.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, that's when I kind of really I went serious. I mean, I went online and I was looking at different things on. I mean, of course, I had been part of like MOS before, and kind of looked at
Mhm.
Thunder's place before, and you read these different things. I mean, I tried all different kinds of devices, and
Right.
even like those, like the two sticks, like almost chopsticks, trying to roll it across my junk, which was a bad idea. But I was trying different things.
I actually don't
And
know that one. Do you mean like the old junk rollers that are kind of like canning
it's
tools?
it's kind of like that, but what I had found was like this old PDF, and it was like it was sketched. It looked like it was something from an ancient Chinese secret of like how to
Oh
stretch your.
man. Okay.
And it was like, and so you take like these two wooden dowels, and I put like tubing over it so it wouldn't be so hard. And
Yeah.
I was basically kneading out my junk, and it actually did improve some erection quality at first, but I was afraid I might have been doing more damage than good. So.
Yeah.
Um,
I vaguely remember that now. Like that entire setup.
yeah,
Wow.
Yeah. So yeah, but again, this was over the last couple of years or so, and then I was like, okay, I'm going to be a little bit more serious about this, and I looked up, and there was a few people. I think one guy was like Basim had something on there, and the guy, what's the other guy that was who passed away, who was geez, the
But he was the founder of Thunders, from what I remember. Is
probably so. So
if that's who you're
yeah,
talking about, that's the only
yeah,
guy
the
I know of.
longevity guy, yeah,
Oh no,
whatever
no,
that
no, no.
Leo,
That's
Leo,
Leo and
like Leo.
longevity. Okay.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So there was these little like these little these like little breadcrumbs that would show up. You're like,
Yeah.
oh, okay, maybe there's some truth to this. Maybe there's a science to this. And then of course you find out about like, is it like Sterling Cooper, and he starts selling a book, and
Yeah.
everybody's like trying to jump on the bandwagon, and I'm like, all right, well, I'm going to do a little deeper dive. And of course through that process, I bought an all-in-one pump, and
Mm.
at first, and then of course I run across Hink, and become a fan of his work. And my my approach then, when I really became serious about it, I started doing manuals to start.
hmm
So, and that was just again straight down to the angles between the cheeks, your typical like 5 minute stretch, or as long as your hand was tired, and then
hmm
letting that rest. And then I started going through, and still had the bath mate. So I kind of used that for a bit, and I was like, all right, that's not going to work. Pulled out an old like Doc Johnson pump that I had, and it was plastic and brittle because I hadn't used it in
Yeah.
a decade or two, and that fell apart. So I said, okay, I got to move on. And so then I decided, and I even had tried like near infrared light therapy, put some red light therapy on me, and I'm big into the biohacking scene.
hmm
So I was like, okay, let's try different things. But as Hink had mentioned, to measure yourself first, and that's when I really went through, and that was getting like flaccid, getting pictures of my D to kind of get a
Hmm.
sense of before and after sensitivity, that type of thing. And
Right.
that really started began the journey. And I think that was, you know, maybe at the end of June or so
Okay,
of this
so
year.
let's back up just a bit. When
Sure.
did you start at 5 7/8?
I mean, that's kind of been my, I mean, that's been my, before
So
I
like
moved. I mean,
you didn't
yeah,
move the needle until you touched Hank's stuff, is what you're saying.
probably not. No, no, not at all. I mean,
Okay.
like I have some, I have photos, I have photos from like 2020, and it's like in the bathmate, and that thing's always hard to read.
Yeah.
But it was like, it can get maybe five and again, maybe it's 5.5, maybe it's a little bit more than that. But the point is like, again, with the water, you can't tell if it's really your D or
Hmm.
not.
Yeah.
You're looking at different angles. So, I was definitely under 6. So that was
Okay.
the start of it.
So I'm
And then,
gonna just to say you probably gained a decent bit of erection quality, but like in a 4 months time, you can put on at least a half an inch of erection quality. If your tissue's tight, there's a good chance that you're up to 6 7/8 just by stretching your existing tissue out to be, optimal and then doing the erection quality. So what you're saying is possible. I just don't think it's likely for most people. Like you got to have a bit
yeah,
of luck.
BD did go through to confirm Bezo's claims after this call with the photo gallery he shared. He was under 6 inches in the pump, which means he might have been smaller than Bezo originally thought and gained more in those 4 months than he stated. Crazy stuff.
And you
yeah.
have been losing a lot of weight recently, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, well, I had gone through different fluxes of that, So the fat pad is one of those things where I had
Hmm.
dropped, at one particular point when I worked out, I dropped 50 pounds, 50, almost 55 pounds. And
Wow.
that's just because, but then again, I'm kind of that kind of person that's goes all in, goes a little obsessive compulsive. So, intermittent fasting,
Yeah.
doing like, cryo freezing on the fat cells and trying to rub that out and you name it. So
So
um,
we can
I
touch on this
approached,
too.
yeah,
Would you be interested in trying cavitation therapy for me? Do you know what that
what's
is?
that? No, I don't.
So cool sculpting, right? But with
Yeah.
sound
Oh, yeah, yeah,
waves.
yeah, yeah.
With sound
Yeah.
waves, you can do it at home.
Oh, I'd be willing to try that. I've done it with the cold therapy. So I've done the freeze packs and put that on my fat pad, and then worked the muscle tissue through, and that actually helped to reduce. And I think you saw pictures at the very top of my photo thing. That was me, almost 240, and then after that it's about
Right.
195.
Right. So that's pretty insane weight loss. So cavitation works a bit more controlled than like cool sculpting does, at least at home, because it's an actual machine. You can buy it for like $100 on AliExpress right now, and it
Mm-hmm.
literally just shoots sound waves into your fat, and that excites the water molecules in the fat, which causes them to burst. When I
Oh,
did
yeah.
this, I lost like a half an inch of my fat pad in about 6 to 8 weeks, from what I remember.
Oh, yeah. That sounds
So
great.
yeah, I had issues replicating it, but we can talk a bit more about it afterwards once we get you dialed in with it. But yeah, that's something to keep in mind. I'm
Yeah,
gonna
yeah,
put that in my
absolutely.
notes. So you've done a lot of PE, and but you didn't take it seriously until about June 2024 when you started
Yep.
doing kink stuff and put on just about an inch in length. Any girth that you know of?
Yeah, so I was, before that, I was closer to, I mean, definitely under 5, and um, yeah, I might have been like 4.6 in girth, and then now I'm about 5, 5 and I don't know, maybe 3/8 or
Five and
3
three eighths.
16ths, 3/16.
We'll
Excuse me, not
say
not
three
yeah,
sixteenths, no big deal.
yeah, yeah. That
So
was weird.
4.6 to 5 and 3/16.
That's correct.
Wow. Okay. I I don't want to like get your hopes up, but if this is painting the picture, I'm thinking you might be a bit like of a very high end responder.
Going through the gallery, there was a measured girth picture as of May 24th, 2024, at 478 inches, which appeared to be a bit pumped. Even if this picture was his normal size, he gained over 1/4 of an inch in girth in 4 months. BD only wanted to bring this up because they are relatively bold claims. He believed Bezo was telling the truth before looking at the photos. However, there are many people skeptical of these bold claims. With Bezo's permission, we will include them in the blog going with this video series.
Yeah, no, it's quite interesting. I mean, it's quite interesting, but I've been very, like religious towards it. I mean, I do it,
Yeah.
we'll go over the routine that I've and as you can see through, I've tried different things as I was going through. I was trying different pumps, and then I was trying different types of. I've done vibration. I've done,
Okay. That's another
you know,
topic for this.
yeah,
So, Koa is going to be doing vibrations. Rosewood's going to be
yes,
doing vibrations. You still want to do vibrations. The only person that we need to figure out is if the fourth contestant wants to do vibrations.
right.
So, I just think it's funny because this was not my intent for anyone that was watching this video. I wanted this to just be my stuff, basically old-ish stuff just to prove my worth, but we're going cutting edge apparently. Okay.
Apparently, we're on the edge.
Like I would have timed it better because I'm bringing a product to market, right? But it doesn't matter. So let's
Well,
go.
this could be we could be the guinea pigs for that next.
Exactly.
You know.
Yeah. So current routine. Let's go over
So,
that.
yeah. So I mean, and I've switched it over time. So originally I was doing Hink's routine.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I bought his program and followed that pretty well. And I started using the all-in-one pump. It was a little bit big in girth, so I found myself getting the base getting sucked in.
Yep.
Eventually switched over to kind of a ball ring to kind of keep the nuts out of there, which was super helpful. I also changed the cap on that. It was like originally like that like thin plastic, and then I got one of these other, you know, Cal Exotic Optimum. It's like a universal pump sleeve, and I was using that, which actually works quite well.
Yeah.
And then that seems to be the easiest to work with. The only problem with it is that you kind of have to manually start stop, and I was trying to introduce intervals. So then I upgraded to one of those like Lay Love hand pumps. That's a handheld one.
So
and I
is
was
that
using
the Magna?
it's the one that's kind of looks like a little, almost like a pencil eraser that you can press to start and stop.
Oh, so do I have one right beside me? We sell them on Peak Muff Physique. They're practically identical. They're little circles, blue screen.
No. I know
No?
exactly what you're talking about. No,
Okay.
those were all out of stock everywhere. So I got the other one that looks like a joystick. It's almost like a
it looks like a vibrator.
like a Wii handle joystick.
Yeah, that's the We Love Magna.
Yeah, and I actually really like that for portability. And the thing is, I could kind of pump it up, and then I could release slightly, and then pump it up. So I was doing my own intervals, but just by hand. And that seemed to be doing quite well using an actual tube, one of the Lay Love tubes. And again, I had a 2.0 that was a little bit too big for me. So then I went down to a 1.75. And I even bought a 1.5 because I thought somewhere along the line, Falbeck was saying like you're supposed to pump flaccid. And then as soon as I did that, I felt like my D was going to like pop the tube because it was just, and I was like, okay, this is never going to work. So I went back to 175, been using that, added the gray vibration motor to it, and strapped on, was using the 60% and then kind of knocked down after you said going down to about 40% on the dial. And after doing that for a while, it was actually quite useful. That was your typical, I was doing like a 5-minute on, 2-minute rest, doing like, three sets of that. And I would do that in the morning and I would do it in the evening. So stretches, then vibe in the morning, and then another, stretches and vibe at night. So it's like 30 minutes in the morning, 30 minutes at night. That was kind of my routine, trying to keep 7 hours between one session to the next to recover. Okay. And then what I started to do is I started to use I used not a ring, but not a D ring, but I started using a sleeve, like your typical sleeve, and I would use that at the base, and I was wearing that throughout the day at work. So it was like an all day like recovery sleeve.
Yeah, so you were doing the retention stuff.
I was doing the retention stuff, so I would put that on during the day after, and I basically wear it, still do, throughout the day, take it off at night so it doesn't interrupt the recovery at sleep. But I do have that on during the day. And then when I moved up to the next pump, which I got one of those butt pumps that are like has interval pumping. You know what I'm talking about?
Could you repeat what you said?
It's one of the butt pumps that has interval pumping.
Butt pumps. I never heard of a butt pump.
Okay, so if you scroll down my photos,
let me pull them up again.
So this is like the next wave of DIY Falbeck vibration. Oh, not to mention that I actually stood on top of an actual vibration plate that I had in front of red light and had an all day stretcher. Tried that out for a while, and it really it stretched my junk, but it But the photos kind of, you'll see, it kind of gives you it's almost like a history.
Yeah.
But if you go further down, you'll see that there's a pump near the end. It's called like a butt pump. You can get it. Somebody in one of the Reddit or one of the Discord channels was offering it, and it goes through different settings, and you can set up a feeder set, which I have it do 10 seconds. It's a 2-minute set. For 10 seconds, it goes up to 10. This is the weird thing, goes to centimeters of mercury.
Mm-hmm.
And then that's the feeder set. Then there's 3 sets. The next one is up to 20 centimeters of mercury for 15 seconds on and 5 seconds off.
Okay, so this looks like something you can definitely just get off AliExpress, for example.
You
but-
can. Yeah, no, it's totally an AliExpress thing. The person that was helping online was,
It just kind of gave it to you.
He actually has a lot. There's a whole Discord channel of people that are kind of, making their own, Falbeck, DIY.
Yeah, okay. I know what you're talking about. I tend to avoid it, but
yeah. Well, I was trying anything. So, but this one here is like, so, and then, so yeah, that was the first set was 20 centimeters of mercury, 15 seconds on, 5 seconds off.
So 20 centimeters, that's going to be 8 inches of mercury.
Yeah. Yep. And then the next set, and that's for 5 minutes total, 5-minute total for that at that amount. And then the next 5-minute set was 10 seconds on, 3 seconds off at 25 centimeters of mercury.
Oh, okay. I don't like this.
I hate it. No, it's horrible. I mean, I had to get one of these apps on my phone to calculate all this.
So 10 on, 10 off. And then that was for 5 minutes at 8 inches of mercury still, or?
That was at whatever 25 centimeters is.
Oh, shit. But that's going to be about 10.
Okay. And the last set was another 5-minute set, 6 seconds on, 2 seconds off at 30 centimeters.
30?
30 centimeters
Okay.
of mercury.
I'm sorry, I was thinking 30 inches of mercury.
No, centimeters. Yeah, no.
It's going to be about 15 inches of mercury.
Okay, yeah.
So 6 on, 2 off. I'm sorry, but this is so fucking complicated for no reason.
Oh, you're telling me. I mean, at first I was getting used to the kPAs. Then I had to get used to the centimeters. It's like, oh my gosh.
So general rule of thumb for kPa to inches of mercury is always going to be by 3. So like either multiply multiply inches of mercury by 3 to get kPa, and then divide it by 3 to get inches of mercury. It's going to be roughly accurate within like 1 Hg.
Got it.
So we're not going to really have to worry about it too much since I have the Lelove Magna, the little pump you had, so I can tell you exactly how to use it.
Okay.
Okay.
And I will say, using that pump that had intervals, by the time I got to the 3rd set, I was getting quite a bit of edema underneath the gland.
Yeah, because you're doing what, 15 minutes?
15 minutes, and that was twice a day.
Okay, so it's not so much that it was a lot of work to say, but it was more like a lot of pressure. Like, how much pressure were you using with the Magna before?
The Magna, I got upwards of, I think maybe I started getting into 33 kPAs, and then with the all-in-one, I got up to about 42 kPAs. So the highest I would go is 42 kPAs in the all-in-one kind of pump, water and air pump.
Okay.
And yeah, so usually around there. It was interesting. Early on, it felt like my D was going to explode, and then over time, it really it adapted quite well, and it was like, oh, this is fascinating. And even adding the vibration at first was kind of like, oh, this is crazy, and then it started to like give it a little bit more flexibility or latitude in it.
So I think we should work down your pressure overall, just because this is a bit nuts.
Yeah.
So
yeah, no, I could tell. I started even with the pump that I had. I stopped doing the 3rd set because it would just cause the edema, even though it'd blow up like a balloon, be like, okay. And then I'd get up to like 5.5 inches mid shaft girth post pump, and I was getting over 7 inches inside the pump as well. But, when we took our measurements, I was almost up to 7 inches just, without pump. And then, just erection. And then I was a little bit, like I said, 5 3/16 girth.
yeah, so you definitely had results. My main real concern is like you're doing so much work that you'll hit that wall real fast if we're not
Yeah.
careful. So
Yeah.
we're gonna
Yeah.
dial it back a bit, and then we're gonna see like if there's anything we can do to help relieve some of that strength adaptation without taking a break. But
Yes.
complete tangent question: have you ever
Yep.
trained your ligaments? So that have been like between the cheeks stretch,
Yep.
behind the legs and everything like that. So
Yep.
yeah,
I've done that. I've done that. I've also done it because I have a pulley system attached to my coffee table. So I was
oh yeah,
actually
that's
doing the
right. You do
stretch.
hang, don't you?
So I was hanging straight down, and at first I was doing manuals. Then I was hanging straight down. Now I'm doing the one off the coffee table because the pulley system lets it pull straight out.
Yeah.
And occasionally I'll lay back, put my feet up, and I was even turning from one side to the other, so I'd get different angles.
Mhm.
So I'd get to the left and to the right. I don't do behind the cheeks anymore because I don't do manuals because I hurt my wrist boxing, so it was
Okay.
like I couldn't grip anymore for a while.
Gotcha. So I'm gonna say let's hold off on the ligament trainings if you did it for like more than 3 months.
Oh yeah, I did.
Okay. Erection quality, how's that been?
So I do take Cialis. I was taking like 5 milligrams for even though I'm over 200 pounds, and I was just kind of having a low dose in me. And
That's
then
fine.
occasionally and then I kind of upped it to 10, but I might, it's one of those things. I just wanted to have a little bit of that. I do take L-citrulline before and after to try to keep that going. I was taking like horny goat weed. I was taking some other different vitamins, ashwagandha, you name it, the mix. And again, I mean, leaning more towards probably using your products instead of all these individual supplements that I've been buying. But
Well, I appreciate if you do. You don't have to for this stuff.
no,
though.
no, I understand that. You and Hink are alike. I get it. I know that's not like a hard sale there, but I mean, it does make it a little bit easier than having because
Yeah.
I buy all these like individual things like boron or bio. I don't even know. I mean, you find out what all these different things are at, and you're like, okay, I'll try that and
Pretty soon you're
add
at
it to
40
the
different supplements, yeah.
oh yeah, oh easy. And then trying to put that and sort that into little like different tablet bottles, it's like forget it.
That's part of the reason why we do this stuff, right? So,
Yeah.
how would you say erection quality
Oh yeah.
improved since you did PE?
It hasn't, morning wood has been great. It's been quite fascinating. And even just showing. I mean, I always felt like I was a grower instead of a shower, and I feel like I have more to show, and which is quite interesting. It also feels weird to grab my D when it's hard. Sometimes, like, whoa, that's
It's
this,
well, with how much you grew in a fucking 3-month period, yeah.
yeah, yeah. No, it's so fast. Well, it's funny because a girlfriend I was dating, like I hadn't been with her a while, and then all of a sudden I was with her, and she's like, "Is your D bigger?" I said, "Yeah, it is." She's like, "Okay." She knows I do biohacking, so
Yeah.
I said, "Yeah, I'm working on it." She's like, "Well, don't get too big, whatever that means." I
Well,
don't know what
we'll
that
see,
means.
right? But yeah, that would be a shock, to be honest. What's your current cardio like?
Okay, so I hit the gym at least 3 to 4 times a week. I'm trying to get a little bit more in that. I do cardio, but it's more of a hit workout. So
That's fine.
it's typically, yeah, like 5 minutes on the stairmaster or whatever, and then for the last 30 seconds I kind of go balls out and then recover for the next 4.5 minutes, and then do that for about 30 minutes
So you
in
do a
total.
30-minute hit 3 to 4 times a week.
I do a 30-minute hit about, yeah, no, I do the hit. Usually it's about 2 times a week. The workouts are about 4 times a week.
So then you like weightlift 4 times a week, hit
Yeah,
twice a
yeah,
week.
yeah. I weightlift 4 times a week, but the
Okay.
hit is usually like maybe twice a week. I'm trying to increase that just to reduce a fat pad and
Okay.
also cardio.
You're gonna be better off keeping the hit as is, but just adding in some steady state. It's gonna be
Somewhat.
less steady state cardio, so just like stairmaster, no balls to the wall, or incline treadmill, something that's easy to do that won't kill
Okay.
your joints. Because like
Okay, got it.
you're running up the stairs for like 20 minutes twice a week. That's going to be terrible on your knees long
Yeah,
term.
yeah. No, you're right. So I originally I would sit in a stationary, like a sitting down cycling, and that was and then I was doing the elliptical kind of thing because that was a little bit easier on the joints,
Yeah.
But I don't like to do it too much because then it kind of interferes with the workout, recovery.
Yeah. So just general practice, 10 to 15 minutes. Zone 2. So like if you have a Fitbit,
Yep.
that's going to be like whatever fat burn they call it. Just do
Yep.
that 10 to 15 minutes before your workout, like 2 to 3 minutes cool down, and then start weightlifting. You might actually get a better pump with it because you're dilated then.
Yeah, and I feel the same way by also taking the Cialis and also the L-citrulline. It's like I feel like I'm getting a better pump all
Oh, for
around.
sure. Like, no doubt. Okay, so you're pretty good on the gym and everything else. If you think your erection quality has been through the roof and with the 5 milligrams of Cialis, there's no real way we can improve it more without
You know what? No,
producing more tissue.
I think the one thing I do notice is that when I stand up, I do have a drop in pressure. So, I mean, I could be rock hard, like, either on the bed or on the couch or with someone. But if I stand up, not always does it kind of hold, firm and fast. Again, I'm also up there, I'm at the 50-year-old range. So, I mean, I'm also on the, other side of that, even though I've been a physical, active person. So I do, and I think we'd mentioned before, I do need to find a way to reduce, pelvic floor
Oh yeah,
tension.
right. So this is going to be very important for you because he was on the Peak Male Physique Discord and he brought up what pelvic floor stretches or something like that. Thank you for reminding me.
Yes.
I've been basically telling everyone in these calls to do Hindu squats and frog pose. I should probably just make a YouTube short and get over with it. But
Yeah, that'd be great.
yeah, you're going to do that 60 seconds each before all of your workouts currently. So 3 to 4 days a week, you're going to be doing the Hindu squats. Ideally, we get you up to almost every day for the first week just to really loosen it up. But that's going to help train your pelvic girdle to be open essentially. And that might actually fix your drop in pressure when standing. Because like
Yeah.
when you stand up, you probably have anterior pelvic tilt. You know what that is?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, so your butt pulls up, and then that changes the pressure variant in the pelvic floor enough for you to notice that you're losing your erection relatively quickly compared to sitting. So let's do that stuff. And then
Okay.
we can look a little bit more into your actual posture. Because I had something kind of similar 2 or 3 years ago before I went to a chiropractor and he basically rebuilt my spine. But like standing, I was like a half an inch shorter than seated.
Ah.
Yeah, so I don't know if that's going to be the case for you, but like you work a desk job, right?
I do, but I do move around quite a bit, and I'm in the office. It's we do kind of a hybrid, remote
Gotcha.
home, and yeah.
Well, if you've been sitting on your butt for 30 years, 4 hours a day, there's a good chance you got some weird posture issues that we
Sure.
could address
Sure.
too. Can't say that's going to help with PE though.
Yeah. Well, let me ask you a question in
Mhm.
regards to the pelvic floor. Like, there was early on, and I would say this is before I got into the PE journey, I was doing like, the Kegels and all that kind of
Mhm.
stuff. And then I realized, oh, maybe I need to start doing like reverse Kegels to release that pelvic floor pressure. When I was doing the Kegels, I did feel like I did have like a lot of increased like steel shaft kind of erections. But then I felt like maybe the pelvic floor got too tight, and then is that something you still want to integrate? Is any kind of Kegels for that muscle to build muscle around there?
So, hmm, I don't have a problem with Kegels. I do think Kegels are a bit overrated though.
Yeah.
Um, it's just based off of what you've been telling me about your erection quality now. I don't really see the purpose because, like, think about it this way. If we're putting any pressure on the pelvic floor with pumping and hanging, that's going to passively train the muscles as well. I think my dog just joined me. Hello. But yeah, we can do some Kegels, but like, I don't want to make this too complicated where you're just missing routines or missing pieces of it because we're trying to get the like margins right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Got it.
All right. So, if you could choose between length and girth right now, what would you want more?
Ooh, that's a great question. It's funny. Before I started, I in my mind at first, I was like, oh, I want to get to 7 and 5. I wanted to be 7 in length and 5.5 in girth. That was kind of like felt like a sweet spot.
Yeah.
Now that I'm almost to 7 and I'm not too far from the girth, um, I do feel like maybe, okay, let me ask you this. Because my ideal, like I would like to end up close to either 7.5 in length and
Mm-hmm.
6 in girth, or 8 by 6. Like that to me is kind of like my, a good.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to be so big that it's, that I can't do certain things, and I guess depends on who you're with, but
Yeah.
so that's my ultimate goal is like 8 by 6. Um, but is there a way to go is one detrimental? Like, in other words, if I go for girth first, does that kind of reduce? I've heard that you got to go
Mhm.
for length and then you go for girth or
Yeah,
something
so
like that.
that is honestly complete nonsense. So their
Okay, good,
argument,
good.
yeah. So the people watching, their argument is as the dick gets thicker, it's like a rope, therefore is going to need more weight to stretch. So to solve that, you just increase how much weight you're using. Like
Ah,
it's really that simple. Like so, like let's say you have a 5-inch dick, like around. If we
mhm.
increase it by 6 inches, it is 20% thicker. So your
Yes.
starting weight is going to be roughly 5 pounds for the 5-inch dick. It's going to be 6 pounds for the 6-inch dick.
Ah, I see. Got
Yeah,
it.
so like
Got it.
it is like it does matter, but like to the point where it's really stupid to even care about. You
Okay, got
know?
it. So then, is there? So okay, that makes sense. But does that mean that you have to? Can you go for both, or is it like you have to? Can you have your
I've
cake and eat it too?
I've so this is just with my experience. I've had much better success swapping between the two just because one you'd be basically able to work off the strength adaptation for one while you're working the other.
Right.
So like it's going to be constant gains in some kind of fashion. So like I'm basically still been training length all year, but like next year I should switch to girth and it's going to be so fucking easy for me to gain since I really haven't trained for girth in that period of
Ah,
time.
got it. Got it.
So, but like if
Okay.
you're only going for 7.5 by 6, um,
That's like, I think that's like, I mean, ultimately I think my goal is 8 by 6. That would make
yeah.
me.
So like we're talking an inch and 3/4 of an inch. Honestly, it would take you like under normal circumstances about 2 to 3 years to get to it.
Okay.
So like I would personally, uh, I mean, you're at a good girth now. You're also at a good length now. So like it really comes down to like what you want more. I've noticed the longer my dick looks, the more confident I am just because like
Yeah.
I have big hands. So like the less or the more dick that shows when I grab it, it makes me feel empowered almost. But
Yeah, same here. In fact, I measured my hands thinking about that too, just because in one of the conversations I've heard you talk about that, or Perv talk about
yeah,
that, or
Perf has fucking
and
huge hands. Like we're talking like 4.5, 5 inches across.
oh, that's
Like
crazy. I'm only about 4 inches across,
yeah, mine are
so
4 inches across and like they look stupid big sometimes. Like when I'm holding my dick. But okay. So let's just
yeah, so
do
yeah,
length
yeah,
is what I'm
yeah.
picking up.
Yeah, let's do length because I think that that would be kind of nice. I think you're right. I like that idea.
Okay. So, and it doesn't seem like you're really focused on length. So,
I'm not super focused on length. It's because I mean, I think the girth part. The girth. I mean, I want both, but I think adding some length would be nice right now.
mhm.
And it's good to know that at least my girth is at a decent range for that, because if you get if you get long
Mhm.
and it's you don't add the girth to it, it feels like then you end up with more a different type of penis.
Yeah. So like right now your girth is basically magnum size from what
You
I'm
know,
gathering.
what's funny is through all this PE, I actually went and bought magnums
There you
recently
go, right?
just to test, because I tried a regular condom. I'm like, okay, it doesn't fit as well. Let me try the magnum. I'm like, okay, yeah, this is working.
Yeah, so I don't want to burst your bubble, but like here in the United States, condoms are so fucking dumb. Basically, the top 5% and the bottom 5% don't have condoms that fit because they think people are always going to overbuy and therefore
Ah,
causing an increase in STDs and pregnancies. So like if you get beyond like 6 inches in girth, you have to get custom order condoms
oh,
here in the
got it.
United States, just so you know.
Well, I guess that's the price you pay.
Yeah, I mean like it's more of a flex than anything, but okay.
Yes. Okay.
Have you done any tunica release?
I haven't. I mean, I have a gua sha blade, but I've not. I've never used it, and
Okay.
I've heard a little bit about it. But that's a good question, and I haven't really done any bends too, like
Okay.
semi-erect bends.
Okay. So we're definitely holding off on the gua sha for now.
Okay.
You've in my opinion, you've only really been doing PE for 2 months, 3 months, and that's relatively intense uh
Yes.
release, so we're not going to touch that. As for the hand stuff, let's start with BFR Massage.
Okay.
I'd much prefer it over anything else just because it's like a pinpoint. We're going for a like a taffy almost consistency. Like when you start, it's going to be kind of stiff, but as it
Okay.
loosens up, it's just going to relax and you can almost pull it apart with your fingers. It's really weird when you actually feel it. Um, that's going to take about 3 to 5 minutes. Once you get to like that taffy state, you can
Okay.
move on to the next thing.
Okay.
And I'm writing this down too, because
Okay, great. And you have that in your video. I mean, I'm part of your Patreon, so is it on that? Is there videos on that as well?
I know it's
And
definitely on the Reddits.
okay, okay, I'll find that.
Yeah. I mean, like, I can find it for you too. That's part of the deal, right?
Yep.
BFR Massage 3 to 5 minutes. Let's see. Normally, I'd have someone do more release stuff, but like if we're doing vibrations, it's not necessary. So vibration
Yep.
hanging or extending. 3 sets. Now let's do 2 sets. 20 or 2 sets, 10 minutes. There we go. 20 minutes total.
Okay.
And that's just because we've been doing manuals, but like when we add in this vibration, it's going to kick your ass a bit.
Yeah. Yeah.
And let's only do 5 pounds for now, and we can dial that
Okay.
in
Okay.
as we go. Then we're going to do just normal pumping. So that's we're calling that static pumping. And
Okay, got
you've
it.
been doing some crazy pressures, right?
Yeah, I mean, I've done it where I was actually vibration hanging and vibration pumping, and then I realized that maybe I'm overdoing it. So
Mhm.
I would alternate, and I would do one time I would like vibration hang, and then and I think you could see on the photos I took one of those small blue vibration motors and kind of retrofitted it so I could stick it on there.
Send me a link to
Using
that blue motor because I need to find
yeah, yeah,
smaller ones.
yeah. It's just a small one. It's the same. It's the same the dial and the same plug, but it's just a smaller motor. And so I got it was kind of nice, and I got that first along with the gray one, and I gave it a shot. But I'll send you the link,
Yeah, that
and then
could
I
be
kind of
very
retrofitted
helpful
it.
for me.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, I've been using that on top, and it's been great. So we'll just do static for the pumping, and then we'll do the vibration hang. Is that correct?
Okay.
Or
Yes,
vice
yeah,
versa?
yeah.
You tell
You
me.
got it backwards, but yes. So you want to pump after you do length work because you want that inflammation messing with any potential elongation.
Got it. And do I vibrate on the hang or do I vibrate on the pump?
You vibrate while extending. So
Okay,
that
got it.
your
Yeah,
little blue
yeah,
motor is actually going to
yep.
be a very good test for this.
Yes, yes, yes. Got it. Okay, great.
Okay, so for those following along on the YouTube, vibration hanging or extending 2 10-minute sets at 5 pounds, 20 hertz, and we'll figure what that is on your little blue motor.
Yep.
And then we're going to do static pumping for 10 minutes, 8 inches of mercury.
Hey,
With your Lee Love Magna, that's going to be about 24 kilopascals, 25 kilopascals.
okay, great.
That's just one session. Now, what I've been teaching is feeder sets. I've seen you on the stream, so I'm assuming you know what those are, right?
I think so. Is that like building up when you're filling it?
Okay, no. So
Good to
feeders,
know.
yeah. So feeder sets are basically AM and PM sessions that are just there to bloat you and pull in new
Oh,
nutrients. So that way you get chronic dilation for a much longer period of time. So basically, all I'm going to have you do is, again, static pumping, 10 inches of mercury, or not 10 inches, 10 minutes total, 8 inches of mercury.
okay.
And we're not really going for fatigue or anything, just to get that dilation with the
Got it.
cockring afterwards for about 10 minutes.
Okay, 10-minute cock ring.
Mhm.
Okay. Yeah, I was doing the cock ring for a while after the pumping, but that makes sense. So 10 minutes is good. And should I use any like the tight band? I've been using a lot of like the total man bands, but should I use like because there's
Oh,
different types of cock rings that are really thin,
yeah.
and there's ones that are kind of thicker. Do you have a recommendation?
Total man bands. Let me look them up first.
So Total Man makes the Total Man cup,
Yeah.
and so the sleeve that they have, you can cut the sleeve into like smaller bands,
The blue
like when
one?
you have yeah, yep,
Okay. So
and
I sell like proper cock rings for it. Honestly, they're like pretty cheap for me. I can just send you some.
that'd be
Uh,
great.
but for now, you can just use what you've been using. If as long as you're getting that fullness after the fact,
Yep,
that's what we're going for. So potentially you could still gain girth doing this stuff too, by the way, because it's just chronic dilation. And that chronic dilation reshapes the tissue.
Got
So
it.
like you may not build new tissue, but your existing tissue will be in that thicker state, trained to be in that thicker state.
Got it. That sounds good.
So
And then also while hanging, I could use like a ball stretcher to keep the
yes,
the
that
prevent
is
the
recommended.
turkey neck.
Yes.
Okay, got it.
So, how many sessions of PE can you do a day? Like 2,
I could do
3?
at least 2. I
Okay.
could do 2 to 3. Oh yeah.
Okay. So let's try AM PM, excuse me, AM PM feeder sets, and
Okay.
then whenever you get home from work, or we could just make it so you have 2 feeder set sessions and then your
Okay.
working session. I don't care what order they're in, just get it all done.
Okay. Yep. That works. That's actually easier than what I was doing. I was doing a full set, like a full set in the morning, a full set at night.
Yeah, so
And
that was probably in your benefit, but since you're doing so much work, you're going to get to the point where your tissues are going to be so stressed out at it, and they'll just stop doing anything.
yeah, yeah.
So
No, I fear that. I can kind of sense that
it's
there's an
getting
exhaustion.
angry. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Here's the other question too. So now, how do you incorporate sex within this? Is there time? Is that counterproductive? Is it should it be between theater sets and workouts, or
It
does
will
it matter?
not impact PE in the slightest.
Okay, great.
As long as you're not like, if you're lucky and you're having sex 3 times a day, that's when it really start impacting PE.
Okay,
But like, I will literally do my entire session and then have sex with my wife like 30 minutes later.
okay, got it,
So like
got it. I
it
just wanted to
doesn't
be
matter. The main thing you really want to worry about is chronic masturbation habits. So like you don't want to bust a nut more than once a day. And
okay.
that's because you want to try to keep the inflation as much as possible, but like with sex, you're getting like an actual sex boner, and those are usually the biggest you'll ever be. So like it's a good trade-off.
Got it, got it. That makes sense. Okay, great. Oh, one other thing that came up is
Hmm.
when using like the cups. I've been doing like the taping technique, the water
Hmm.
technique. I mean, you name it. I've tried everything. So the taping seems to help only because the tip of my penis, the lips get kind of swollen
Hmm.
sometimes
Yep.
in the cup. So just again, you recommend just taping is probably the way to go. And then I put water as well at the same time. Is that
You
kind
should
of
not be
counterproductive?
using water and tape together just because it's going to
Okay.
make the adhesive pretty weird.
Yeah, it
Um,
does.
and I don't think Total Man cups play that well with water long term. So
Probably not.
yeah,
Yeah.
keep that in
If you had,
mind.
yeah, if you have any recommendations, I mean, I went with that. I know there's a few other brands out there too. So
I mean, I sell them. Total Man's fine. Perv loves them. I don't like them that much. They're too long of a bell for me. But like, I know a lot of people like them. That's the honestly the only product I like from Total Man in general. But I'm not going to throw any shade that I don't need to.
got it. One other question about that: when you're filling a bell,
Yeah.
or, so there's times like if I'm fully erect, the bell that I have probably won't work. I mean, but I'm going in semi erect, it'll go in, and when I pull the air, it kind of fills it to pretty much to the plastic. Should I? And I feel like going up in the bell size is going to be too big. And I know you talked about putting tissue there to kind of
Hmm.
like maybe buffer it, but is there a hard and fast rule, no pun intended, around the bell?
Ah, shit. It's like you're between probably what a size 3 and 4 is what you're saying.
That's correct. That's correct. I think the biggest is a 5, which was like a crazy. That's like
It's
a gong.
literally like, yeah, like I can fit into it pumped, but I can't fit into it like normally. Anyway, I'm trying to think. So if you're taping, do the 3 bell.
Okay.
If you're not taping, let's give the 3 bell a week, see how it feels, and then if it's too much, go to the 4.
Okay.
Or if it's too small. But like if
Yeah.
you're trying to get bigger glands, like you want to be not using tape.
That's the thing is that I noticed that because I usually had more of a mushroom head, and then
Mhm.
now that my girth is expanding, it's getting closer to the size of the gland,
Yeah.
and it's like, oh wow, I'm losing the and I don't want to completely lose the gland because it has its own advantage, and
Mhm.
so that's why I was and I was only taping the my lips together at the top because I
Uh-huh.
didn't want it to blister. But then I'd get the bloating around the base underneath the gland. So all right, I
Because of
guess it's
how
gonna
long the bell is, right? Okay.
probably yeah.
Yeah, that's a tricky situation. We could talk a bit more after
Okay.
this.
Okay.
So, as for frequency, we're going to do the length parts 5 to 6 days a week. And then we're
Okay.
going to do the feeder sets every day. And
Got
that's just going to be the chronic bloat. Now, are you familiar with retention at all? I mean, a little bit, obviously.
I mean, when you mean retention, what do you mean? Like
Retention tactics.
Not. I mean, other than keeping a sleeve on.
Okay. So,
Yeah.
for length, if we want to be elongated and near erect length as long as possible, will lead to more length changes, right? So
Yes.
what we could do is, I'm assuming, I don't know what exactly you bought from Total Man, but they have an all-day stretcher kit. Did you get that with?
I think
whatever
I
you
got that
purchased?
too. Yeah, I
Okay,
think I got
awesome.
the kit as well. Yeah.
So after pumping, you're going to wear that all-day stretcher for about 2 to 4 hours, and that's
Okay.
just going to keep that tissue stretched out. You can do it before your working session or you can do it after. It doesn't really matter. As long as you get that time in the biggest shape for a long period of time, essentially, that's going
Yeah.
to lead to more length gains
Yeah,
than
got
without
it.
it. Okay?
Yep.
So let's see. And you should probably do that retention stuff on the active recovery days. So like when you do your feeder sets, do the all-day stretcher as well. And
Okay.
honestly, just using the all-day stretcher might grow your glands if you don't tape. Because like it's
Okay.
just a little bit of pressure that's going to cause them to bloat, and then it's going to help fill them out over time.
Got it.
2 to 4 hours ADS. Okay. So let's go over this one more time.
Sure.
First, pelvic floor stuff. We're going to do Hindu squats and we're going to do frog pose. We're going to do that before every weightlifting and cardio session. Ideally, you do it every day for the first 2 weeks to loosen up the pelvic girdle. Then we're going to do 2 feeder sets a day. Doesn't matter where you put them. 10 minutes, 8 inches of mercury. For length, we are going to be using BFR massage for 3 to 5 minutes, and then vibration, hanging or extending, 2 sets, 10 minutes, 5 pounds at 20 hertz. Followed by static pumping for 10 minutes, 8 inches of mercury, or 24 kilopascals, depending on what device you're using.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to be doing this 5 to 6 days a week for length. The feeder sets are every day, twice a day. Retention, 2 to 4 hours with the Total Man all-day stretcher.
Okay. Got it.
Okay. I feel like you have a lot of questions because...
No.
No? Okay.
No, I mean, I was asking him as we were going along.
Okay, that's why I
Yeah.
thought you had a lot of questions. Just had them loaded up for me.
Yeah. No. I was going along the way because I was also trying to throw in a few things in there with like the taping and stuff like that because those are things I was having trouble with.
Yeah.
Kind of finding my own. I mean, through experiment, but you're trying to find what really works.
Yeah. So back to the taping. If my most recent video on vacuum hanging how-to, I have a decent enough tutorial on how to tape with just like actual taping and not just covering the slit. So like
Yes.
Between sizes, that will help when your glands get a little bit too big for the size 3.
Yep. Yeah, I saw the video, so I got it. Cool.
Okay, awesome. All right, so if you don't have any questions, I think this is a good place to end it, don't you think?
Yeah, I think so too. I think I appreciate all the work you've done and giving the opportunity for some of us to to improve, to maximize where we can.
Of course, man. I mean, I've struggled with my body image and everything like that, and now this is literally my fetish and day job. So,
Yeah, for sure.
If you guys like this kind of content, like it, comment what you want to see next. I do get this a lot. Consultations like this are only for the YouTube channel, so I will pick you, and we'll go from there, okay? Subscribe to the channel to stay in the loop with everyone else's progress on the Gainathon, and we'll see you in the next one.